Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks very much for joining us. Good to be back after Auckland anniversary yesterday. And a reminder, we've got Waitangi weekend coming up this weekend, so it'll be another short week next week with no video on Monday. Anyway, this week, all eyes are on a low that's coming down out of the tropics. This is it here. Now, last week in our last video, it was up here near Vanuatu, so it's dropped southwards. And when you look at the map, you can see the South Island is further to the west than the North Island. So as those rain clouds come straight down, they miss most of the North Island and they come straight into the west coast. And that's why the west coast has got a deluge on the way. There could be up to 400 millimetres or even more than that falling in some parts of the west coast. So anywhere from Marlborough around to Nelson and then Nelson down the west coast, all of those areas are at risk for heavy rain. When you take a look at the wind and rain map, we've got here some rain clouds. This shows where the heaviest rain is currently lying, and as you can see, it's mostly out at sea. But look at the north to south shape of that rain cloud. It really does line up with the South Island, and that's why we're going to see as the next day or so moves along and that low moves further in, those rain clouds are going to really set into the west coast, and the rainfall totals are big, with some spillover around into Nelson and Marlborough, maybe a little bit in Taranaki and a little bit up here in the very far north. Otherwise, windy nor'easters will blow through for northern New Zealand. That's the squash zone through this area here between low pressure and exiting high pressure. So the usual kind of windy weather sometimes gets up to gale force, but doesn't usually cause too many problems. So on the rain map, you can certainly see this deluge coming in. This is for the next 4 days of accumulation starting from Tuesday, so today. Heaviest rain in the middle here, getting up to 300 to 400 millimetres. We've also seen some very big totals around the Nelson ranges as well. So really anywhere up along the west coast and spilling over into the Nelson Marlborough area. Even this area here with the purple shading is still 100 to 125 millimetres. So we do expect slips and flooding at the top of the South Island, and we imagine there'll be some flooding and slips also along the west coast. And there could be some spillover into Canterbury as well. We're still talking here of 40 millimetres further towards the coastline, or 30 millimetres, but further inland, 60, 70, 80, 100 millimetres as you come in towards the mountains. So there's a lot of tropical energy coming into the west coast. Some of that spills over to the east coast, and most of the North Island misses out on this rain at this stage because that is likely to change next week. So, talking about next week, here is the 7-day departure from normal, and what it shows is the heavy rain coming down here from this subtropical low, but then the North Island's rain coming in next week. Keep an eye on that red line there though. That's where it is very dry, and that's where it's very wet. So it only has to move a couple of 100 kilometres and the North Island's back under that dry weather. So I don't want to get you too excited. But there is a chance next week of wet weather coming in for the top of the country. It's been a long time. The North Island needs it. So we'll keep a close eye on that. We'll update you obviously, of course, tomorrow with the next update on that rainfall total. So here is Wednesday, and the situation for Wednesday showing that heavy rain straight out of the tropics, straight into the west coast. Rainfall totals are going to build up as we go through this week. There could be around 40, 50, 60 millimetres coming in tomorrow. The North Island, just a few showers caught up in those northeasterlies and a few showers also along that eastern side. As we get to Thursday, more rain falling on the west coast, heavy rain. Remember, this is a 24-hour map, and so the rainfall totals you're seeing there, 150 millimetres in that area in just 24 hours. So that's why there will be some spillover into the eastern waterways. The North Island's got northerlies. The overnight lows are getting up around 21 degrees, so good luck sleeping over the next few nights ahead. And we get towards the end of the week, on Friday, that heavy rain slides further up the west coast. And again, the purple shading, 100 millimetres in 24 hours. So you can see why we could be getting up to 400 millimetres this week, because you're talking about over 100 millimetres a day falling as this tropical airflow comes straight into the west coast and to Nelson and spills over into Canterbury, while the North Island remains mostly dry. So the weekend's quite important because that's where the change is happening. As the big high out here slowly moves out eastwards, the rainfall that's stuck behind it slowly moves eastwards as well. And so it starts to come into the North Island on Saturday. Still mostly dry for Northland, Auckland, Coromandel, the top half of the North Island. But from Taranaki down to Kapiti and Wellington, you'll start to notice that rain starting to move further in. And by the way, a cooler southerly coming in behind it for the South Island. And our final map here for Sunday shows that rainmaker very slowly moving into the North Island. Now parts of Northland and Auckland getting a bit more wet weather. And if you thought it's warm and humid this week, you wait till next week. This is Sunday. Look at the red line. It's like a puncture in the tropics. As that lows come down, it's pulled with it all the tropical energy. A farming analogy, it's left the gate open, which means the tropical downpours up here can now wander down towards New Zealand. Tropical winds here. The red line means it will be very humid for the top of the country next week. But this rainmaker is likely to cross the North Island next week, and that's what all the eyes are on. Plus, this is all low pressure up here. Our next ClimateWatch update, that is out tomorrow. We didn't do it today because the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia are putting out their next climate driver update later on today. So we thought we'd save it for Wednesday, have a much more detailed update then. So ClimateWatch for the month of February and a sneak peek at autumn, that is out tomorrow, Wednesday, the 2nd of February. That's all from me for today, though. Good to be back, and we'll see you tomorrow.